I'm from the same camp as Saul in the sense that this is something we're building because we, like literally 2 or 3 of us thought it would be a good idea, and we don't have a business model. It's funny to hear people talk about business models when everyone knows very well the business model is to build something that people like and then just slap loads of advertising on it and then sell it to somebody for huge amounts of money, as if anyone needed any business model other than that. But anyway, yeah, we've got to talk about these things, I suppose. This is what we wanted to do with this was, well, a couple of things. We wanted to make an application that would. We were bored of algorithms as a way of finding out about stuff that we found that we might like to know about. Clearly, you don't know everything you want to know about, and there has to be ways of finding out stuff that you don't yet know that you want to know about. And obviously, the way that mostly happens in everyday life is that a friend that you respect, admire, or think is apeshit but has occasionally interesting insights tells you something, and you take it on board and you go pursue it and you find out. And this is the Last FM model, and it worked pretty well for Last FM, although Last FM is obviously too algorithmic because it always recommends me things that I either already know about and find boring or which I don't actually like. It doesn't quite work properly. It doesn't work $415 million for me. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't like it that much. But this is somehow GIGO, which stands for garbage in, good stuff out, is somehow a way of doing this with news. Because we wanted a way that we could find out about new news, stuff that we were going to want to know about, and also share our stuff that we discovered with our friends in small communities of like-minded individuals. Because that's the way that we, I don't know about you, but that's the way we always learn things in everyday life. But online, if you look at it at the moment, you've got this thing where you've got like Dig and Reddit and sites like these that for some reason that I still don't understand produce these top 10s, these top 100s, the world is still somehow composed around this idea of massification. There are big, the things that should interest you are the things that everyone is interested in. Well, I don't know about you again, but I've never really been interested in the things that everyone is interested in, whether it's blockbusters or Britney Spears or what. I'm just not that bothered, and the same goes for news. Me personally, I'm usually interested in things that people are not interested in, whether it's economic reports and so on. So, this system lets you build, it takes in information via RSS in a non-rocket science fashion and lets you build windows into that in a pretty simple fashion. So, for example, this, if you see, it's too far away for you to see it properly, or you're all standing too far away, the screen's too small, but this pirate post is a filter that I've created for myself, and I create it via a combination of searching for particular keywords that will come up again and again in news, looking for particular publications that will have the news items I'm interested in, having folders that I can drop things into, and I do this as an everyday part of my activity, discovering new items, throwing them into folders, looking at what my little search routines have turned up. But the innovation with this system, I know it's not that interesting to look at, but the innovation is that every single person who's finding and creating their little filters that produce these lists of items that then link to websites in the way any RSS client does can be chained with other people's. So you can build complex chains that can be expressed in everyday language. For example, show me everything that Christian and Jim are interested in about environment. And chain that with everything that Jamie is interested in about Web 2.0 and call it my weekly interesting read folder. And then Jamie's interesting weekly read folder can be combined with Darius's political items folder and outputted as somebody else's 2 people I happen to like's weekly stuff folder. And all of that can be outputted as clean RSS. So from there, you can take this into the world and do what you will with it. So essentially, it's kind of like it's a way of destroying feeds as they're presented to you. So the New York Times feed comes to you as a single stream, and it can just be discombobulated, and combining them with other feeds that are out there, and throwing those out into the world again with some items that you happen to chuck in there because you thought they were interesting. Now, this will be uninteresting to you if you don't like this person's combination of information, but if it's a friend of you, or somebody you happen to respect, or a famous journalist, for example, you may be interested in how they recombine this information, and you may subscribe to that feed, or you may throw it into your website, and this system is really clean in the sense it doesn't stop you from doing any of that stuff. The other thing it lets you do is or it will in the next version, you can edit. A lot of conversation was had about this, but you can actually destroy the stories that come in on the RSS feeds and actually replace the text. You can just change the text, which means you can take a story that's presented to you in one way and you can output it. You can change it and pass it on in a different form. This allows you to do more than add comments, because your relation to stories, the classic relationship of the user to the story has been, yeah, you can add your comments. But we figured, well, look, if you've got a story you're interested in, you may actually just want to delete some paragraphs or summarize it or add to it. And if I like you anyway, I may like what you've done with that. I may be more interested in your version, your intervention, than I was in the original journalist's. So it's actually a way of creating, as it were, a sort of newsroom, a sort of a news exchange or a newsroom in which people take control of specific themes that they're interested in, and then, in a sense, share those with others. And this is about producing small conversations that never become large, that never have to become, it never has to become 1,000 people dug this story. It must be interesting, because it obviously patently isn't. It's more about your 5 friends who are all specialists in investment say this company is interesting, say this story is interesting, and therefore you probably would be interested in it. Not because an algorithm told you, but because they told you. So this is roughly it, and anyone who wants a demo, because this is really too small for you to see it, can have one. It works. It runs, even though it hasn't been released. And what are we looking for? We're looking for, I guess the best thing we could probably look for is somebody who would see why it's important, and then help us take it on to the next level in whatever way they want to. I don't think it's really about money at this point. To be honest, we don't need that much money to make it work. You know, we need small beer. So it's really more like someone who can see that it's interesting and then push it with us, because we're not business people as such. We just wanted to make it work. So thanks, Christian, for inviting me to talk to you. Thank you.
I think it's a great idea. It's something that I want to do, though the existing system I do this with is delicious, and you set up networks with my friends.
Yeah.
But I find that it doesn't really work, because my friends don't share stuff with me.
Yeah.
I don't have enough friends. Or
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But did you have a solution for that or something?
What, for giving you more friends?
Yeah. I mean, delicious has a huge user base. I mean, why?
Let's go out more. Let's have a beer.
I mean, why is delicious not working for me? And why will yours work for me?
I mean, they're totally different. In a sense, they're totally different things. You know, delicious is what delicious is. It's a set of links.
With networks, you can see what your friends have looked at.
To some extent, but what Gigo does is throws lots of stuff at you. So it throws things at you, which Delicious doesn't do. Because what I wanted, I wanted to have things thrown at me, right, from the world. I didn't want to just.
You
so I want to
tag in. You can see what's popular. I think Delicious does throw stuff at you.
Yeah, maybe. No, I think personally, I think they're fundamental. I mean, for a start, this is completely focused on news, at least currently.
Okay, news.
And it definitely won't build you a group of friends.
Yeah,
I think
a lot of users don't like it.
I think it would build you a way of.
Okay, I guess